All right, today we are going to prune a apple tree that has not been pruned very much. You can see there's been a few branches on the lower end of the tree that were removed, probably because they were getting in the way of whoever was mowing the lawn. So no real rhyme or reason to why it was pruned the way it was pruned. And so our goal is to do some corrective pruning today. And first I'd like to just describe a little bit about the shape of the tree and why that tree is shaped this way. What happens is trees typically grow up looking for light. They'll send up water sprouts. Those water sprouts will eventually put on spurs. The spurs will then develop fruit. The weight of the fruit will weigh that branch down. And then at the end of that season, once that branch is fully matured and the fruit has been removed, the branch stays at that shape. So we have a lot of branches hanging over, a few sticking straight up, just a lot of congestion in that tree that needs to be thinned out. There is a lot of good spurs. It's a young enough tree that we should still be able to get a lot of fruit off of something like this. We just need to really be aggressive, thin it out, open up that canopy, and allow for more sunlight to penetrate into the good spurs so that we can get fruit on those specific spurs. So we got a nice background here. We should be able to see exactly what we're doing. We'll go ahead and jump in and we'll take a look at this tree when it's all said and done. So we just finished up pruning this apple tree that hasn't been pruned very much. You can see we significantly removed some of the taller branches. We thinned out a lot of the congestion, tipped everything back so that when it does produce fruit, it can support the weight. But we did leave a lot of the spurs. You'll see there's still a lot of growth in there, but what we focused on is leaving those spurs for fruit production. One thing that you will notice is that we've kept some of the outward growth so it's a little bit wider than it is taller. That's so that the harvesting becomes a little bit easier. The lateral growth is pretty big and it can support a pretty heavy fruit load without failure. But other than that, you can see that we've done a lot. It looks a lot better, but the way the tree is going to respond to this type of pruning next year is going to send up a ton of water sprouts. So when we look at this tree next year, we're going to have 10 feet of just thousands of little unproductive branches shading out the canopy. And so the follow-up pruning to something like this would just be mostly focusing on removing those new water sprouts. But for this year, we have enough fruiting wood. It could still be very productive depending on how the environment, the weather, the temperatures work with this tree.